Thank you, John. You saved the day. Dang it! What happens when that people, man? Oh, I don't know if I should redo my whole thing, my whole setup. I'll just go with it. It's all right. That really affects the recording. So, but John, how was your day? I was just mentioning you that we can have a big difference in our outcome of how things go for us. I'm really debating if I relog in. Oh, you can hear me now, John? You should be able to hear me. But perspective is something that we can kind of control. I've been studying hypnosis. I'm getting my certification in hypnotizing people, and it's just a different state of mind. But we have power over our thoughts. And John says, "Thanks. Good to see you again. Not bad. Actually, loud and clear. Good." And Debbie is here. Hi, Debbie. How's your weekend going? We're, like I said, getting up to 11 inches of snow. So my mom just lost power. So hopefully mine will stay on. If I like instantly log out, that's what happened. But I hope to see you guys tomorrow night too at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But, you know, Sammy Sam, good. And Debbie, 19 days no contact. So that is fantastic. And John saying, hey, Debbie, um, that's great. How are you feeling with going no contact? I just did a video on, like a little short on why sometimes going no contact, if you block them, the difference on that too. When you block somebody, you're not checking your phone constantly because you know they can't get through. So it might be healthier for some people. Um, am I finishing? Are you talking about the hypnotism? Is that what you're talking about? The finishing? Unless you're talking to somebody else. I'm going to finish it. Yes, I want to go where I become a public speaker and start seeing you guys in person. So I said, 5,000 subscribers, I'll start getting that together. I already got 2 PA systems and really doing a lot of studying. I just got certified as a professional life coach and I got a couple other certifications in the process. I am certified to teach psychology. But Sammy Sam, I want to ask, do avoidant people hate hugging and kissing? Someone I was seeing used to really not like it. Um, Sometimes, but this is a thing. Avoidant people aren't necessarily always physically avoidant. So, a lot of times it just relates back to their childhood, any trauma in that, or what they were used to. If they're not used to getting hugs, or if they're self conscious, things like that, it's just awkward to them. So, narcissists can be avoidant at the same time. So, mine loved hugging and snuggling and all that good stuff. So, not always, but I had a friend's mom who she just didn't like hugging, even her children. Had 3 children, so she got a little freaky here and there. But some people just don't like it. Um, and you also have to make sure it's a good match. That's why I'm still single because I've met a lot of really good guys, and I just don't want to hug or kiss them. So I know it's not the right match, but I have no like I love hugging and kissing, but I'm super picky on who. So it might not be a good match, or it's just awkward to them. Some people also with kissing, maybe they have like germaphobes type things or think it's gross or whatever. So it just depends on the person, but there's something holding them back. Um, it's not everyone, not every avoidant person will hate hugging and kissing, if that makes sense. Dog says, did you just come on live? Yes, 7 minutes ago, but I was muted for 3 of them. So you didn't really miss very much. How are you doing, Dog Defender? Debbie's gone 19 days. Debbie, you're not seeing anyone's comments. You might want to Oh, you went out and came back in. All good now. I was just going to tell you to relog in. That's the best thing to do when you're having problems live. I do that when I teach. I'm like, just come back in the room, and it usually fixes it. John says, hey, Dog Defender. And Sammy Sam, their avoidant behavior was making me anxious, which was affecting intimacy, so I ended it. Yeah, and it yeah, it can make us like reflect on ourselves. Like, does my breath stink, or are you not attracted to me? And it can cause some self-esteem issues within us, and if that's something that's important to us, you know, she was very rushy and wanted to go straight at it without any foreplay, etc. Um, hmm, interesting. So what did she ever come on to you, or was it you always initiating? Was she like, fine, let's just do it, or was she ever? Yeah, uh, yeah, they don't want the intimacy. The intimacy is awkward to them. Um, yeah, I want to get to know your person a little bit better. There's stuff going on with that because if they're able to do it, like, yeah. Dog says, what is the certification requirement for life coaching? Have you seen the Royal We? If so, thoughts we can email. Just curious. No, the Royal We. I'm trying to remember. Is that is that with Harry and Meghan, or why is that sticking in my head? Like I know about that, but I don't. The Royal We. Maybe, or is that a YouTuber? Tell me what the Royal We is. I know I've seen or heard of that, but I don't know. And yeah, we can email. I'll give you the details on that, and then you can travel with me. And I don't know if you guys heard that I'm also adding hypnosis onto it. Just I just really want to learn as much as I can about the mind and the thought process that we have, because I do want to talk about the positive versus negative thoughts that we have and how it really affects our lives. Also, it'll affect our relationships. And hindsight's 2020, but sometimes we self-sabotage just on our thoughts. Um, how long do I have uh, for the hypnosis? Is that what you're asking? Hoping by the end of this weekend. Hoping by the end of this weekend. We'll see. I got, yeah, I'm going to cram it this weekend. I've been working on it though. And Sammy and Debbie say hi to each other. Dog says, yeah, that's what you're talking about. Hopefully Sunday I'll be posting that. Dog says, hi, John. Good to see you. And lots of hellos to everybody. To Sammy Sam from Dog. Sam says, it was me always initiating it, but she did want it. She used to say, are you ready yet? And yeah, either she's inexperienced or, it's uncomfortable, or she's into instant gratification. Sometimes, let's just do it. I just want to come. So I'd have to know her a little bit better. But yeah, some people just aren't used to it. It depends on who she's been with before. Sometimes we pick up each other's love making styles. And John says, I'm doing good trying to skip these damn ads. Oh, do the ads play when you guys talk to me? I always wondered how that went. Dog says, I raised a little girl named Samantha. Her mom had cancer. We called her Sammy Sam. Aww. And hopefully the girl's still okay, getting better. Oh, the mom had cancer. Yeah, I love Sammy Sam. And this Sammy Sam, you're a guy, right? I'm remembering correctly, but yeah, Samantha is also Sam. Debbie says, I have a question again. Yeah, feel free to ask questions. I went on my messenger the other day and let me scroll down. Oh, it goes so fast. I hate it when it does that. So I'm there, guys. At Dog Defender, that's so sweet. And Debbie says, and his picture came up. It was just his normal pic, but I went on before to check out my friend, and his picture was gone. So I looked him up, and the picture of him is white. What does that mean? That's weird. I think on Facebook, when the picture goes white, that they take down their Facebook. So he probably put it up and then took it down. So I think that's what the white means. Because I know people that have done that and it turns white. So yeah, he's not on Facebook now. And what does that mean? He might have just logged in to check on something. Maybe he was checking his messages or wanted to send somebody something. So that's what that means. Mia, I'm doing good. You're asking how I'm doing. Good evening to everyone from Mia. How are you doing today? So, yeah, yeah, he took it down. So yes, you are male. I remembered. Yes, we need more men in my life. He removed his photo, is what Sammy Sam says. Yeah, they remove the photo, but sometimes too they take down. I'm not sure. Does it just go white? Can you delete and have no profile picture? Because I think it would revert back to like a circle with maybe a letter. I don't know what it reverts back to, but I know that it can also mean that it's been taken down. The Royal We is a YouTube. It is a YouTube channel. Maybe I have Kevin. Not sure about all his certifications or education. Just curious because I have seen a few of his podcast casts. And yes, the Royal We. I know that's sticking in my head because I was like, yeah, that sounds too familiar. Let me look him up so I can tell you how much I've watched him. I need to start paying attention to who people are. I just listen to their content sometimes. What's your question? Dog says, "Can I?" You guys can always ask questions, and can I tell you something? I do that too, where I'm like, "Can I ask you? Can I ask?" And I do it a lot, and um, you know, it is a polite thing. It is a polite thing, but I'm like, why do I do it so much? Um, and I think what it is a lot of times we feel like we're not heard. So you guys will always be heard here. But I think it has to do with something where we're like, no, I need to make sure I have your attention. And I think that comes from this narcissistic abuse that we've been through, where we feel like we're not allowed to ask questions because we've been cut down so much. So what do you guys think about that? Do you guys say, can I ask a question? Um, and that's fine to say. I'm just saying that I picked up that habit of doing that. And I know you guys are being polite. Royal We. Let me look this up. Sorry, my phone on YouTube. It makes sounds whenever I hit something. Ay, ay, ay. It helps if my fingers weren't so big. They keep having pop-ups. Yes, I do have Instagram and email. I'll go ahead and put my email down here for you guys. You guys are always welcome. Just in the subject header, it's good if you add YouTube in it. I kind of get a lot of emails, like spam. So go ahead and write this down if you would like. Feel free to contact me. And I don't know my Instagram by heart. I can get that for you guys. I didn't do HTTPS, so my links, I think I need to update that. Debbie says it doesn't matter to me because it's. Oh. I should hook up my mouse. That might make it easier. So John's saying hi to Mia, and it doesn't matter because you're good without him. Good. So it sounds like you're doing a lot better. The Instagram is in my description, but I have to update it so the link works. I think you just need to add HTTPS with the colons and stuff. And Dog says, "Hey, Ma." And are you saying hi to Mia? Or are you calling me Ma? Mia says hi to John. Thank you. Good to see you. Dog says she has Facebook, Sammy, and email too. Yes. And I need to grow that Facebook. That Facebook isn't really growing. That's my fault. But I added on a couple other YouTube channels that I want to grow. Was it Tallest Teacher Tales. I'm going to do some teacher stuff. Okay. His name. Yes. Okay. Let's look up the Royal We. I know. Oh, yes, I do know him. Yes. I watched actually quite a bit of him. So what are your questions? I know a lot about him. I knew that made sense in my head, but I couldn't put two and two together. Feel free to ask questions. Debbie says, I've had black, and that means he's mad at me. But oh well, I've seen the Royal We. What do you mean I've had black? like a profile that's like black. I'm not sure what you mean. Yes, it is polite, but since it's your show, and if oh, you were so sweet. Yeah, I was just bringing up me. And if you had something planned, I didn't want you to have to deviate. And if you did, I would ask after, meaning it isn't pressing. Yeah, you guys, I'm pretty good about going through things. I'll stop reading if I need to get a point across. So it is polite. So thank you. I just know that I do that. I'm like, why do I do it? So you're doing it out of politeness, and I was doing it out of, I say this too much. And I started analyzing, why do I say it so much in like conversation? And I'm like, I feel after the narcissistic abuse, I wasn't being listened to, I think. So Debbie, again, oh no, you might have to relog in, try to reboot the phone. I don't know why, Debbie, it's giving you problems. Anybody else having problems seeing the chats? Oh, hold up, guys. Did I have to do something different? Top chat. How did I do this last time? Remember how we fixed it last time? Okay, I got to hit those little the arrow. No, it's just giving me top chat. Oh, live chat. Hold on. I got it fixed for you, Debbie. Hold on. Live chat. Thank you. I'm still new at this. You should be able to see it now, Debbie. So Calibri is here saying hello to everybody. Good to have you. How's your weather? We're getting up to 11 inches today. And Calibri says, I hope everyone is doing well. And I am too. Hope you are too. So Debbie, it should be working for you. And that's what you mean? Yeah, some people just have different ways of communicating it. Maybe he's in a dark mood and is trying to convey that, just like sometimes people will wear dark clothing. I've never seen anybody do that with their messages or their profile picture, but yeah, sometimes we understand what others are trying to say. So Mia says, hey to K Flyer. And John says, hey, Calibri. And Calibri says, yes, I like Kevin at the Royal We as well. He's cool. And yeah, I'm dying to know what your question about the Royal We is. Because yeah, I've watched a lot. He does a lot of his stuff outside. And we're all saying our little hellos to Mia and John from Calibri. And it keeps moving. So yes, Calibri is here. John, look at all that love. And Dog says, but additionally, I believe I ask permission, often from being raised with mismanners. Yeah. And I also feel that long-term abuse has made me at least very cautious about everything. Yeah, and when we, yes, Dog, thank you. It took me a minute and it's stuck in my head. You probably were the one that helped me last time. So I did do it. Thank you for reminding me. And Dog says, hey to Calibri. Calibri says, weather is partly cloudy today in the high 40s. Tomorrow we'll have some flurries. Next weekend is daylight savings time. And they're talking about this might be the last time that we do daylight savings. They were just talking about that. And what do you guys think about that? Getting rid of daylight savings. Only him. Only him. Only him. Yeah, I've never seen anybody else do that. So thank you for reminding me about that live chat. Lily says, hi, Lily. Hi to everyone. Good to have you here. And look at Calibri sending you some love. Lily says, Dog, I hope you're feeling well. Yes, how have you been? I know you had that terrible headache for a very long time. And is it Aku? I like that. Am I saying it the right way? I think I am. Hello from Mark in Ireland, guys. So is your name Mark? All the way over in Ireland. That is fantastic. I was an Irish dancer in Double Dealing with the Devil, a play that was put on by Joanne Lehman, and she wrote for Days of Our Lives. So that's my little connection to Ireland. I love that Irish dancing. I love that. Kind of like the river dance stuff. But my daughter's half Irish, so good to have you here. Feel free to join in at any time, ask any questions or comment. And so, Debbie, it should be okay. That was my fault. I didn't click live chat, which shows all the clips, so you should see it now. And yeah, Dog, you do seem like you have good manners and our upbringing. It affects the way we talk, and that's why we have to remember too. Even the narcissist, it affects the way that they talk. They come from a more negative upbringing, and even if it was like a grandiose, they have negative thoughts on themselves. So, feeling not good enough, and we tend to have like a different way of talking. You said, dog says, I noticed I apologize for everything, even to furniture, plants, even every animal. That is a classic sign of abuse. Yeah, I apologize way too much too. Hi to Mark, and my last name is Foley. Large family in your beautiful country. Oh, so you got some Irish ancestors. That's fantastic. Yeah, I say sorry a lot, and we'll do that with our narcissists too. Like when we start crying or whatever, it's like, I'm sorry, I just, because they don't validate our feelings, that we start feeling we did something wrong. Good point. And yep, I'm Mark. Your videos have been great in me understanding covert narcissists. My ex-girlfriend replaced me within a week last July and married the guy in only 4 months. Yeah. I wouldn't blame you for being furious. Crazy how that goes. And that's a classic sign of it. No downtime to cry at least for a week, and then to get married in 4 months. That's insane. That's crazy. Every now and then, maybe it works, but I want to say, what was it? My aunt and uncle. My uncle dated a lady for 7 years, and then I think, no, I don't know. My memory was he dated her for 4 months, and my mom's like, no, it was longer than that. But I think they started living together, and he's still married to my aunt. But yeah, they just move on. And I'm glad I was able to help. Covert is more dangerous than the overt. Overt we can see, but the covert is, I think, a covered, to help me remember, like covered and hidden. We don't know what we're expecting, and I'm sure it hit you out of the blue. I had mine 3 weeks before my wedding. Wasn't ready, and he wanted to postpone it. And talk about poor communication skills. I sent out my invitations, had my bridal shower, had to return everything, lost money on deposits, all that stuff. You have a birthday today. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Melissa. Happy birthday to you. So for my birthday, you can give me singing lessons, and then next year it'll sound even better. Happy birthday, though. That's great that you're joining us. And was it a good birthday? I hope so, because you're here and we're celebrating with you. John says we might get more snow. And everybody's saying hi. But Mark, yours is pretty recent. How are you dealing with it? Are you doing okay with it? How long were you with? Yeah, I think you said how long you were with her. How long were you with her? And sometimes hindsight's 2020. We start seeing some of the red flags. Other times we're like, I have no idea what happened, and it's just the connection just isn't there. That's why they're able to go person to person to person, and it's hard to believe. You hear all the I love yous, and if you guys are intimate, it seems real. And Melissa says, thank you. We moved to a different city and a new start. Yep, that's a good way. And we do have to remember that sometimes that can help, but sometimes it's we have to embrace that it's a new venture. Otherwise, we can still bring our problems with us. I went down to Florida. I was still sad. So it depends on who you are. Sometimes being in the same house or same city, you pass by that certain park and then you start crying because you remember walking in that park with the person. So yeah, sometimes it's a healthy start. Kalibi says covert narcs are very evil. They, it's the lies. Like we plan based on lies, and our whole life is unraveled And for what, and we feel really abandoned. So yes, Aku Aku, I'm gonna go in between Aku Aku and Mark. I will try to always remember Mark. But dog is saying, Mark, if I may, want to congratulate you on escaping that nightmare. And that's a different way to look at it. And that's why we're talking about the positive and negative. Congratulations on that. And marrying very quickly, definitely a sign of no boundaries. Typically and statistically, they usually fizzle out as quickly. And they can fizzle out very quickly. Some can last for a long time, though. It's all depending on how good they are of hiding things, what their opportunities are. Are they still out in the workforce where they meet more people, or are they working from home now that we've had COVID? How risky are they? Some will take risks, others, but yeah, the connection's not there, and it's going to start falling apart. It just depends on opportunity. So Debbie says my anxiety is up there. I'm projecting, not sure why. I'm waiting for the narc to say something. It's just a feeling, but he's not getting a comment from me. Had the hearing Monday. Guess who showed up? Tell me. Your ex did show up to the hearing? Just tell me more, Debbie. And how did that go? I'm really wondering. But yes, Melissa, you are welcome. Definitely happy birthday. And sorry for my singing. Feliz cumpleaños. I can sing in different languages too. And I can sing in sign language. So Mark says, yeah, I never knew about love bombing or mirroring or any of that stuff. She plastered Facebook of them kissing all over Facebook the week we broke up. I imagine he was already in the picture, most likely, especially they got married. He was probably there the whole time, and it's really interesting why all of a sudden they get married, and a lot of times too with that future faking, we might feel like we feel something's not quite right, so we try to calm ourselves, like, are we really doing this? Are we committed? Are we moving forward? And they'll reassure us. And so we give up having an opportunity to be with somebody who really loves us because we're trying to be faithful, committed, and they're out doing whatever. They're not returning that. They're all in for themselves. So yeah, Mark, I know that's extremely hard. So that just shows it's not just in America, it's all over the world that narcissism exists. Dog is saying happy birthday to Melissa, and he took a Japanese restaurant. What do you mean took? Took you to? You're confusing me. Who took you to? Your ex took you to a Japanese restaurant? I love Japanese. What is it? Hibachi? Is that what it's called? I'm not into sushi though, but was it delicious? I teach English as a second language to a big group of Japanese people at my school, so I know a little bit of Japanese too. You were with her for only 5 months, so yeah, if she probably could have been with him for a long time before that. When you were dating her, did she accept you in a relationship on Facebook, or did she accept you at all on Facebook? And could you see if she was in a relationship? It's very interesting. Very painful too, Mark. So, luckily it wasn't years, but it can give a lot of damage quickly. So even though it was only 5 months, it can give you that CPTSD. And I know you're probably angry, but are you still struggling with that? Lily says, who showed up? Debbie, the narc. And Mia says, happy birthday to Melissa. Debbie says, happy birthday. We are definitely celebrating Melissa today. You've been busy moving, and yeah, moving's never fun. It's exciting but it's a lot of work. So good for you on your new start. Mark says, happy birthday to Melissa. Melissa says, love you guys. Dog says, Mark, I would never look at any ex's social media. It makes it much harder to disconnect. If you are sensitive, I certainly am. I basically cut them off permanently, saving myself sanity. And that's the thing, we look at it and we're like, why wasn't I good enough? Or, for years, was he cuter than I am, or he doesn't look smart, or whatever it is, we start comparing ourselves. And, we have to know within ourselves that they're the ones that lost out, that they didn't see us for who we really were. And they just need a target, Debbie says, Lily, yes, he did. We were on Zoom. I was in the lawyer's office and he went to the courthouse. The judge asked the lawyer, were you expecting someone? He was like, no. Crazy. So he did show up. That's crazy. So he found out when the court date was. How did he find out when the court date was? That's interesting. How did the court case go? And did they let him sit in on it? Wow. He's feeling entitled to your stuff. Did he try to speak at all, too? Mark, who is a Kuaku, says, thanks for the support, guys. Yeah, the rumination has been awful. I think she met him in a new job, but yeah, she plastered kissing pics all over Facebook with him. Yeah, they don't, are they going to work? Are they not going to work? They don't even know each other, It's obviously, pretty physical. If she's plastic, it's weird. I see that too a lot, where they're trying to prove that they're together, so they, they're not just holding hands or making out. Or I see a lot of sexual posts sometimes too, whether it's some naughty something and they tag the other person in it, like, I want to do this freaky thing with you, and it's, I don't know, different. But yeah, we're definitely here to support you, and I'm glad some of those videos would help. Do you still have other questions too? I'd love to help you some more. Kalibi says, I think we've come across narcs before. They were just regarded as people who were hard to agree with. Now we know what they are. Yeah, we do all have narcissistic tendencies. We all do go through good and bad times in our lives. But the one thing that I hate is when people will lie to your detriment. Just like, if I'm like, hey, I need a place to stay, I'll pay you. Can I rent your house? And you're like, sure, no problem. You can move in on the 13th, and you're lying to me. I can end up homeless, but if, you passed gas and you lied to me about it, it's like, whatever, it's not to my detriment. Like, or, if you lied to me that, not that people should lie, but if it's to your detriment, that's crazy. But yeah, they can be hard to agree with. They don't like to compromise. Some of them cannot compromise at all. And yes, Lily has a fantastic question. Why did he show up? Isn't it just your matter, or does he have something to do with it? Yeah, he's thinking he's entitled. I'll let her answer it. So Mark says, yeah, I really should come off Facebook. The temptation to look at what they are doing is just too easy. Yeah, just take a break. Take a social media break. Also, that way you're not going through the rabbit hole. And I'm waiting on my question about the royal we. What about the royal we? But yeah, it's good to just, put your effort into something different. Go for a walk, or come adopt my dog Dixie. And I'm just kidding. She's being good. She was covered in snow. It was so cute. She's a sweetie. But social media can bring you down sometimes, you know? So that's a good thing just for a little break, you know? Debbie says she said his phone starts with those hashtag sounds, symbols, and then she said the area code was 414. For a second, I couldn't breathe. Noisy Rose V. Is she the judge? Was a female judge? Girl power. She said his, huh? Now he's been using different apps. Is that what it shows up when people use the WhatsApp and stuff? Does it show up with those hashtags? Melissa says yes, my soulmate. And yes, the food was great. Oh, you're still with it. Yeah, Melissa is with somebody healthy from her account. And we got a little confused thinking that her person, that she's her soulmate, was the narcissist, but it's not her person. So good. I'm glad sorry we got confused on that before too. So Mark says I was off Facebook when I was with her, but she never took pictures of us together and put them on Facebook. When I reached out after a few months, she was just rude to me, so I never texted her again. Yeah. And, you know, a lot of times too, they'll do that because they don't want to take accountability. They don't want to say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm, seeing somebody else. Or did she ever do any future faking? Like, you're the love of my life, I can't wait to have your babies. Or Dog says, Cynthia, my question, since I often miss lives, especially for a while, I do not know many of the new people in our group or their stories. Would love to have some way to do a share with everyone. Yeah. Feel free, guys. Kind of update us, on your situation. Give us a little background. And Dog is really good. And she took some time off from us because of her headache. Ended up in the hospital too, twice, right? And just share your story. And we have a good group of people here that they're gonna give some comments, some help, some positivity. And Calibri says, what do you think of the sentencing of Alex Murdaugh today? What a narc. He didn't admit to his crime. This is the thing. He was so into drugs that, that affects it too. But I wanted to see it again. I wanted to see that one clip where he was kind of slobbering. He was crying and he was, rubbing his nose and stuff. I thought I saw tears. Did you guys see like tears? I saw a lot of like slobber and it was hard to see. I know sometimes too, I've done videos for you guys where I have like a mild filter, and I know you don't always see my tears when I cry. So there was, I believe it was a juror. It was somebody in the courtroom, and he was like, no, he did not cry. And the reporter was like, what do you mean he didn't cry? Because we did see that breakdown. And he's like, I could see his eyes. He didn't cry. So I wanted to see it again. But what do I think about him? I kind of want to see how sociopathic, psychopathic he might be too. They can cry with whether or not there's tears coming. They can cry over, fuck, I'm going to jail. So we don't always know why they're crying. But he was all about himself. He just cared about, in the end, the family image. And he did admit to lying a lot. And I think that was just to build credibility. Like, you can believe me now, but the extent of all his lies. And sometimes too, they start believing it What do you think, Calibri? Yeah, he never admitted it. And he kept saying, I love my son and wife. I would never hurt them. But, he didn't even admit hurting them by the drug use. And, yes, and it only took him about 3 hours. So at first there was two that did not think he was guilty, one that was undecided. But within 3 hours, they're like, oh, it was probably just a little missing piece of evidence. Yeah. So I did mention, I think it's in one of my live chats. I think I talked to you guys about that, about Alex Murdaugh, because, I went to law school, things like that, and we studied the different body language. And I wanted to see the clip again too. I was so mad they didn't do that one clip. I think that's the one where he was crying. But they asked him, did you annihilate? I can't remember their exact words, but basically, did you kill your wife? And so he's like, no. And the fact that it was just a slight bob, and it was him saying, yeah, I did kill him, but his words said no. It was just very minute, but I wanted to post, I know he's guilty. I know he's guilty. And granted, we got to take everything into consideration, and you do have to take the facts in. You also have to have an anchor, a base of what they're really like. Does he have some Parkinson's or something? But I did see that where he's like, no, I would never. And he's trying to convince us by doing that. So I saw that. Did you guys see any body language things? When did he move? Was he agitated at certain questions? Those are certain things to pay attention to. I do have videos on body language, and I'd like to do some more on it, just the way eyes go. I also noticed too his blinking. His blinking would change. So he started blinking more when he was being asked those kind of questions. No, I didn't. It's a sign. We blink like 6 to 8 times a minute, and he started blinking more. Kalibi says, so Dog says, I'm so happy the devious Alex Murdaugh was found guilty. I truly was fearing a hung jury. It is quite interesting to me that this case has caused so much division. And explain a little more on the division that you're seeing. Debbie says he must have looked at Wisconsin's CCAP. It's on their circuit court. She let him sit in because she said cases are open to the public, and they are. They are. I think they might close them for children sometimes. But yeah, yours is an adult case. He went on Zoom, so we were on Zoom. It went good, but he can't engage. He's an outsider. One check comes next week, but he may not have caught that part. And I know you said it was supposed to be something pretty substantial. Gosh, do you? I don't know, Debbie. There's things to be curious, but that's like real time curious, not like I wonder if she's going to buy a new car with that money. That's a little too close to home. Do you feel safe? Do you feel safe? That he knows about this money. Yeah. And yeah, definitely stay in contact. If he does come back at this point, especially in the next month, it's because of money. So Mark says, I noticed she would spend unusual amounts of time in the ladies' bathroom when we would be out. I think it was to contact him. Yeah. Most likely. Yeah. To respond to messages or send him something, and some women we do, some of us either need the time, or, we're self-conscious, so we might fix our hair and makeup. But I have a feeling you're right that it was probably to either contact or send him some naughty pictures or whatever. Melissa says my stepdad is a narcissist. Yeah, so we got confused in the beginning. So yeah, guys, feel free to share some of your stories too if you would like. Debbie says, I didn't add his number, that's all. He just had to stick his nose in my business. Yep. And that's the thing. It's like they love keeping tabs on us sometimes. You guys are great. I see those thumbs up. Thank you. John says my gerbil still can't figure out why some people act this way. Yeah, it's okay. Dog says I don't want to discuss any creators on any public forums as I feel that could create drama or somehow my questions could be misinterpreted or screenshot and sent to him. Feel free to privately message me through. You still have my email, right? Yeah, and that's the thing. We have to be careful who we listen to. There's some YouTubers that are coming from anger, and be careful on the advice you're going to get from somebody who's angry. If I was angry, I could tell you, fuck that motherfucker up, and that's not going to be good for your life, so get advice from people who aren't angry and have a good perspective on things, a positive perspective. It is interesting that Lee Hammock had just done a video on, is a narcissist ever really happy? And he says, I'm going to be in therapy for the rest of my life. I still struggle. So, do they change? They can change a little bit, but the connection part isn't going to change. So they're always going to feel a disconnect. Maybe a circle time, like when we start a live. Oh, there you go. Yeah, just a quick little recap. Good idea. You tell them the teacher to have circle time. I forget about that. I teach art now. We do a little circle time with the super young ones. The others, we just get down to business. So, yeah, that's great. Circle time. You got to remind me on that for the first couple times till it becomes a part of me. I'll write it down, though. I'll write it down. Excellent idea, circle time. I like that. Just quick little, hey, this is, dealing with this, divorce 2 years or, things like that. So in your cancer group, we had a very interesting program used where you clicked a person's moniker or name and bio. Oh. Now, the bio, I don't know how many people would want to post on their bio about that, because maybe in Facebook, maybe I don't know how to do that, because I understand what you're saying, but like right now on my personal YouTube, or I don't know if I'd want to tell everybody that, I was emotionally abused and all that stuff. I don't know how that would work. Where do you put that? Yeah, because I want to make sure everybody's comfortable sharing it, though. Melissa says, a narcissist stepdad really destroyed my soul, or I at least felt like my soul was destroyed by him. Yep. And a lot of times, too, the hardest part, too, is like, get over it. Like, what? And they don't even see it. That's really hard. So we feel like they don't see our worth. And Mark says, she never future faked, but she was struggling to get a place to live. I sensed she was looking to move in with me. She moved jobs and places to live all the time. I sensed an agenda to move into my place. Yeah, and that might be why she got married. The other guy might have said, look, you're going to live here, you're going to marry me. And she's like, okay. She was at a period in her life where she wasn't able to necessarily take care of herself, so just have somebody, some guy pick up the slack. So that can be, Yeah, it can be very confusing. Like, she's hinting at moving in with me. She must like me. And it's not always like that. We have to remember that. Lily says they'll never admit. They'll never admit because they think they have a chance at an appeal, which in truth they don't. We'll just drag through the system. Yeah, and I think you're talking about Alex Murdoch. And is it? I've seen it both ways, Alex and Alec. Uh, my mind, my photographic memory is trying to say it's Alex, but I've heard Alec a couple times too. Yeah, they don't want to take accountability. And that's the same thing we see in our relationships with them. Why admit it? Because we might still get another chance at them believing. Okay, LDS, time for my cheerleading. It is time to hit the thumbs up. Yeah, so we need to show Cynthia the support and to get this video into the algorithm. Yes, because I'll tell you what, guys, 5,000 subscribers and we're going to go on the road. Hopefully, we might even go to Ireland. What do you think? And yes, so thank you for those thumbs up. Dog said, you're so sweet. Thank you. Dog says, oh my word, typo queen. Okay, kids, not LDS. And yeah, I was wondering, like, what? LDS? So, Dog, thank you for being my cheerleader. Yeah. So you can do it. You can do it. Mark says you guys are great to talk to. By the way, my guy friends don't know anything about NPD and just say move on. Yeah, and that's hard. We want to connect with our friends, like help me through this, and they're like, just do it, and they don't get it. It is tough. It's cause CPTSD in our brain, and we get stuck in that rumination, and we have to take the power back, but we have to go through the 5 stages of grief or we're going to get stuck in it. So you have to make sure you bring it full circle to the acceptance. If you don't accept what is, you're going to be stuck in this. And that's why the positive versus the negative thoughts. I'm going to catch up real quick, and then I do want to talk about today's topic. So Kalibi says the judge today told Alex's lawyers that there's no chance of appeal, double life sentences. Yeah, they were talking about, he does have double life. And they were talking about for the appeal, unless they can have some minor discrepancies, but if it's not going to change the outcome, they won't take the appeal based on minor issues, so yeah, it doesn't sound like he's going to get the appeal approved. John says, I already hit the like button, but what's your butt? Mark says, take care, dog defender, and thanks for the chat. Kind regards from Mark in Dublin. Is it Dublin? I say Dublin. So, Mark, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope to see you again. And lots of love to you. And John says, here's more thumbs up. I know, it wouldn't be nice if you could just... You're so sweet, John. And thank you, Melissa, for that like. And Dog is saying, I've seen so many people fighting with each other. Heels digging over some believing he is innocent, and others that are swearing by their standards, not lawyers. That state emphatically failed. And that the state emphatically failed. Yeah, and you see that too with the O.J. Simpson case, yeah. And he put on a show. He put on the tears, and when you don't see, just like I said with that slight body language, because I was kind of like, I don't know, is he guilty? And I started looking at the body language, and my gut was telling me, it's going to come out that he's guilty. So people don't always look at all the red flags. Melissa says, I'm sorry for my bad grammar and spelling. You are totally fine. Don't worry about that. It's just nice and relaxed here, so don't ever worry about that. Dog says, thank you, everyone. We need to always show our support so we can grow this channel. Thank you so much. And John says, I was kind of feeling a little overwhelmed today with some old feelings, but since things have changed drastically here. I'm recovering much faster. And change, we're never going to be the same. And it's up to us if we build back better. I didn't want to say that, but we have to use positive self-talk, because there was one thing I watched today that we have to focus on the right things. And I really want you guys to hear this. If you were a skier going down a ski slope and you're like, I don't want to hit a tree. I don't want to hit a tree. You're freaking out. I'm not going to hit a tree. I'm not going to hit a tree. And you're looking at the tree so you don't hit them. You're going to gravitate towards them, and eventually you're going to hit them. But if you're like, I'm not going to hit a tree. I'm sorry. I'm going to stay on the path. I'm going to stay on the path. I'm going to stay on the path. That you'll go down the path and you're going to focus on the path instead of the tree. So your focus is where you need to be. So when we have our focus, keep your focus on where you need to be. It's hard to do, but that little shift will change the outcome of your life. If you're like, I'm never going to get a husband, I'm never going to get a husband. If you use positive self-talk, it's going to be different, that I am worthy of having a husband. You're going to start doing things that are going to change you. You're going to feel different, you're going to focus on different things, Sorry, my nail broke. I don't know if you saw my facial expression. It really broke. John says, the recovering. And you were saying that your positive thoughts were helping you come out of that negative state. And Debbie says, I've been on edge, anxiety levels high. I felt him wanting me to text, but sorry, Charlie, not happening. Maybe I'll change his name to Charlie. The judge asked the lawyer if he could put up the $50. Oh, 50,000, and he did. He said that number will be going way up. I thought that was something he didn't need to hear. I'm confused on this because I thought it was like an inheritance, and is the judge asking your ex if he could put up 50,000, or was I'm confused on that. He said that number will be going way up. I thought that was something he didn't need to hear. I bet he thought he would see me. Interesting, but I am a little confused on the case. Sorry, that's my fault. Kalibi says, Damar's coaching is also a very good narc abuse support site. I'm not sure if I know who that is. Damar's. There's a larger black man who I really like. I don't know what his name is. That's kind of, and I hope that's politically correct to think that might be his name. You have to be so careful sometimes too, Another site for narc abuse is ASSC, unless you mean association. Very cool African American guy. I wonder. I wish I'll get better at remembering names for you guys too. Because there's a cool African American guy that I like. And I don't know if that's him. ASSC, I'm not sure. Dog says, Cynthia, I will link you after we talk. You can look at the site, and I'm sure you will be flooded with ways. Everyone writes their own bio, sharing only what they want. Also, always for our group only. Yeah, maybe there's something I can do in my Facebook somehow, or I don't know. I can post it on my walls behind me. You guys can have your own little stories. And Debbie, you did too. Thank you for the thumbs up. Dog says, Kalibi, thank you for the suggestion. I will look him up. Yeah, I got to write that down too. Damar's and ASSC. Note and awareness. I don't mean to scare anyone here, but I feel and think that because of their mental derangement and lack of empathy, are dangerous people. Open your eyes, people. They are dangerous. They are dangerous. They will take you for whatever they can. They get really angry too. If you tell them no, depends on the person, how entitled they feel. But some will leave you alone and some will hound you. Lily says true. Definitely. John says extremely so, Calibri. I agree 100%. Mark says, what's people's names in here, guys? Nice to chat with you. Yeah, some people feel free to share their names. I'm not sure if Calibri is Calibri's name, unless you say flyer too. So I don't know what Calibri means, if that's a name or. So guys, Aku Aku is Mark, and if you guys would like to share your names, if not, just that's okay. We start to get to know each other too. Sometimes it gets confusing too for people where they see Aku Aku and they don't know who Mark is. That it gets confusing sometimes. So sorry, Dog Defender, I thought you were logging off. I'm staying on for the chat. Guys, good. I thought you were logging off. Glad you're staying. John says, I have as well many times. Calibri, my feelings toward narcs is not based on hate. It is based on awareness and discernment. And yeah, the awareness is important. So Mark says, a strange thing about my ex is that I don't know if she really got married. She posted married. Oh, okay. But no pics or proof. And the guy has no pics or married on his page. She might not be married. Yeah. I know someone I had mentioned that they love to call each other, hubby. I love my hubby. And I was like, wait, what? My hubby? They break up and, they get back together 2 weeks later and it's my hubby. They're not even living together. There's a lot of that going on. It's kind of like subliminal manipulation where they're either trying to get the person into marrying them or it's just a lower standard of what they feel is. It's weird. It's like claiming their territory, but it's also not their territory. It's interesting when they do that. It's like you're not married, but yeah, she might not be married. She might not be married. And is she one of those girls who likes to post pictures of herself? Not all girls do that, but you would think she would post, show off her wedding dress. Interesting. I wonder. Yeah, I wonder. You got me thinking on that one. And Calibri says, John and Lily, I've seen the craziness in their eyes and their actions. Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can see either the black eyes of the narcissist or evil intent, piercing eyes, spacing out sometimes. And Mark says, yeah, I don't know on that one, Mark. That's got me thinking. I love your little emoji, guys. Those are so cute. Dog Defender says, Calibri, I can't agree more. My narc was hands down the most dangerous person I've ever known. The male, particularly with any tendencies towards dominance, aggression, and control, tend to be extra toxic. Yeah, I was lucky. Mine were never physically abusive, but yeah, and the females too. They can get quite physical too sometimes. John says, to be totally honest, Cynthia, I actually broke down for a minute and cried. Whatever caused it, which is many things, at least I got it out of my system and mind. And it's okay to cry, It is a loss, Whether it was a real person or not, it is a loss. And then sometimes, too, we have certain feelings like, was this my fault? What could I have done better? Why can't we work it out? Frustrations and, the confusion. you know, we were taught work things out. Sometimes that's why we stay longer than we should. And their survival technique is just different, um, and it's quite hurtful. Look at Alex Murdaugh. He's trying to survive. He's trying to stay out in the world. So he'll say whatever he needs to say to stay free, even though he got convicted. But it's a desperation mode, you know. And what the crazy part is um, a lot of times, if they've ever like dated down, how people talk about it that way, it's because of a comfort level, like if I was dating some super hot bodybuilder and completely, ripped, toned, everything like that, and I was confident in myself, that's fine, but if I was self-conscious and being around him made me feel self-conscious, then I might feel fat and flabby and unlovable. It has nothing to do with him, so the narcissists, they have things that they're uncomfortable with. So um, it gets confusing, that's very interesting. So John, I know it's hard, and that's we can't be hard on ourselves. That we realize we're loving people. It's gonna pop into our heads every now and then. So don't break yourself down. Don't sit there and go, I'm such an idiot. Why do I give a fuck about? Just say, look at it positively. We learned something from it. We learned, and it's a mind shift that we have to do. We have to look at what we're thankful for. They had this one posting that was another good one that they had where they're like, hey, if I give you $1 million today, would would you be happy? And the people they were talking to were like, yeah. And he's like, tell you what, I'll give you $10 million. Would there be anything that would take away this happiness for a while? And they're both like, no, there's nothing that would destroy that happiness. What went through my head is somebody died, but let's take that out. But they said no, nothing's gonna make me sad. I just got $10 million. And he's like, so if you go to bed knowing that you're gonna have $10 million, and the deal is you can't wake up tomorrow, you're done, you're dead, is it worth that $10 million? And both of them are like, no, it's not worth the $10 million because I want to wake up tomorrow. And he's like, well, you're saying that your life is more valuable than $10 million. Why don't we live that way every day? Why don't we wake up feeling like $1 million, instead of saying, I can't afford new tennis shoes and this sucks and my car is ugly, and we're focusing on things as opposed to I woke up and that is worth more than $10 million to me. So it's just a difference in perspective. We can focus on the negative things in our life. I have a small house, or I got cellulite or whatever it is, as opposed to I'm alive today. I got both my legs, or my dad didn't have both his legs, but he had a prosthetic. There's certain things that we can be thankful for. It's hard because it's easier to focus on the negative, but we need to start focusing on the positive. So let me catch up. So, Dog says, Mark, how long were you dating? I think you said 5 months. Only answer if you are comfortable. I'm not sure if she was more into you than you into her, or why you didn't want to move in. Yeah, he said 5 months. And yeah, I don't know how often you would see her too. Was it once a week, or that's still early for moving in? People do it, but there's something holding you back. you know, could just be the way you raised, want to wait till marriage, but there's still something that, it wasn't time. It wasn't time. Debbie says the judge asked the lawyer to put up 50,000 because we need it for a document. I guess it's normal, but the narc didn't need to hear that conversation. Oh, I hate that. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know why you would have to put up 50. The other lawyer, it's sounding like your lawyer was asked to put up $50,000 so you could get a document for things to be released to you. I'm not understanding how that's normal. I don't, that's $50,000 out of, see, I don't know if you mean put up from you or put up from the estate. Like, put up from the estate might make sense. Kind of put things on hold to process whatever needs to be processed. But yeah, he doesn't need to hear any of that. So let me catch up for you guys. And I wish it didn't flip-flop like that. Kalibi says, dog, whenever I see the narcs around, I see predators. Just like sharks that are smelling fresh blood, I observe their crazy actions. Dog says, no Facebook, Cynthia. Please do not test them. Tons of drama and unhinged people. Yeah, I agree. Instagram or anywhere else. Yeah, they can be quite unhinged, and you're playing with fire, Definitely, that's true, Yeah, we got to remember too that, they can see in things that, whatever we post, we got to be careful. John says, it's such a shame we have to always keep our guard up around these people. Yeah. And that's why, if we don't entertain them, then that's half the work already done, But we have to understand people, and if we keep up our boundaries. The hardest part about narcissists is the way they lie, that we trust them and we think they're going to keep the boundary, but they go behind our backs. And Debbie says we all got a quick glimpse of me when the judge asked me a question. He got a quick glimpse. He couldn't talk, not a sound. He's a nobody. That's right. Yeah. And that's just odd that he did that. Huh. That's right. I think you did tell me Calibri was something. Hummingbird in Italian. That is neat. That is neat. That's cool. John says my name is John. And yeah, yours is easy. And Dog says Calibri, yes. I see them as vampires. They will suck the life out of you. Mark says we dated for about 5 months. I didn't have the capacity to move her in because I rent with other people. The renting and living situation is tons. Rents are through the roof in Dublin. Yeah. And did she get angry at you that you didn't move her in? Yeah, we got to uphold our commitments to other people that we're renting. And but ask me anything, Dog Defender. I don't mind. Thanks for the support. Yeah, we want to help you through this because it can be quite painful. And I did a video too where it's like, focus on the positive. Just look at it as like a vacation. Just like if you go somewhere beautiful, you enjoy it and it was wonderful and it was an experience, and then you go back home and you're like, that sucks. I miss that. Well, just take it as an experience. We experienced some good times. And, when you rent a a nice hotel room or something. That's not reality. That's not where you live. It's where you stayed, So if you rented a chalet, it was just temporary. And that's what we did. We had a little temporary vacation, poetically, as an analogy, that it wasn't real. And it's hard. That's just the way the narc lives. And they're going to do that with the next people that they end up with. So Kalibi says, next time you come across the narc, take a look at their eyes and observe their unhinged actions. They are crazies. And I don't think, like sociopaths, their eyes are a little bit more fixated, to where it's a little more apparent. But narcs, I don't think you can always see in their eyes that they're narcs. You'll see flares of it, but there's times you'll look right at them and they won't know. I did notice Alex Murdoch. There's something about his eyes, there's something about his eyes, that it's hard to tell too, because his eyes were darker. Like my eyes, if I'm not a narc, but if I was, like, you guys could really see if my pupils like super dilated just because my eyes are light. But his dark eyes, it was hard to see. But he kind of had like a dead eye kind of look. And have you ever seen people where they like space out and you just, like, their eyes go blank? And that's why I'm with the studying of the hypnosis that I'm doing, just the different mental states. And it deals with a lot of positive thoughts, connections that we can kind of redirect our brains. And I got a lot of good stuff coming on that for you guys. So Dog says, Calibri, I love hummingbirds. I have about 15 feeders up all year round. I was photographing some extremely beautiful ones today. They are such a joy for me to interact with. When I go to my mom's, she has hummingbirds that come too, and it's nice, fastest little wingies. So they can be quite crazy. You're right. Debbie says, my mind working slow here. The money is a bond. You're fine. And I'm unsure what the bond is for, though. Do you know what the bond is for? I'm trying to figure that one out. I don't know what the bond would be for. So Mark says she has no pics of the marriage and he has no pics with her on his page. Actually, the guy looks like a gay man, respectively. But I drove by them one day and seen them holding hands. Maybe it's all fake. Well, if he's holding hands, they might be in a relationship. Because if you just drove by and just saw them randomly holding hands, that's not necessarily putting on a show. Yeah, we got to remember, sometimes, I get what you're saying. Sometimes people appear a certain way, doesn't always mean that they are. And two, some people are bisexual now too, so whether he swings both ways or not, or it could just be, interesting. I don't know. If he doesn't have anything on his page, yeah, I'm not going to suggest you go dig deeper into it. So you said she replied angrily to you or something like that, rudely. And what ended it? Did she say anything? Like, I don't know what the rudeness was. Like, yeah, okay. Or was she like going off on you? Dog says, John, I agree, but better safe than sorry. Oftentimes is a huge help. Spend a long time getting to know them. Often becomes too long for them to keep the mask on. When mask falls off, then we know. Yep. And that is perfectly said, that over time, they're just like, screw it. It's just easier to start over. They can make up a whole new story. And because there's times where we're like, wait, didn't you say this? And they're like, oh, crap. Now I gotta, yeah. Dog says, Mark, no problem. Just not sure how long you two were together. What was the first indication that she wasn't trustworthy? Were you able to communicate about it? Just curious, not enough room to ask. I know they're like cutting you off. Kalibi says, dog defender. Yes, I do have hummingbird feedings too on my patio, which reminds me to freshen up their food tomorrow. That's so sweet of you, taking care of them. So let me catch up, guys. Oh, of course. I've been thinking a lot about my hamster April that passed away recently. I plan on getting another one soon, and that's true. That's pretty recent too. And you've had quite a few losses, and little things will remind us, So it can be hard. And Clevy says, John, get another one soon. You owe it to yourself to be happy again. Pets bring a lot of happiness in our life. And you're right. John says, I am. At least all my pets that passed had good lives. And they did, You definitely took care of them and attended to them even when they were sick. Dog says, John, I totally understand. I've lost quite a few beloved pets recently. They shatter my heart like nothing I can ever articulate. I have been working through so much grief. I feel ya. And we're here to support you through that because it can get quite devastating sometimes. And we have to look at, that we were lucky we had that time with them, Lily says, same with my cats, John, the best life. Kalibi, just don't show them you are terrified. Just keep it cool, keep calm and collected. They could sense it. If we are afraid of them, you're right. And it'll stir them up. They're like, oh yeah. And they'll try to overpower and take advantage of that. Dog says, I would always get another dog every time one was adopted from my rescue. So each adopter saved 2 lives. I go to the shelter and let the dogs pick me or work with a friend who takes in dogs stumped. I like how you do that. So that way the dogs are even happier that they picked you. Mark says, dog defender, she stayed in different friends' houses all the time. I dropped her to one of these friends' houses one weekend. At the following weekend, my cousin saw her at a pub with the guy where I dropped her off. Oh. Huh. That's hard. Yeah, a lot of times, people going house to house can be a sign that they might not have their life together. And there's usually reasons for that. Debbie says, yes, my lawyer had to pay that amount for a bond because on Monday, my sister-in-law, Linda, is going to be the personal representative for the estate. I'll be glad when this is over. Okay. Keep us posted on how that goes. Do you trust your sister-in-law? Dog says, yikes, Mark, that is very sad. I'm so sorry. I agree that 5 months is too soon, in my opinion, to really even know them. And I agree. Dog says, I'll be right back. Max, my vocal street dog, is going bonkers. Okay. Mark says, well, she lived a strange life, dog. She moved jobs at the time. She's Lithuanian and has lived in Ireland 12 years and still had no stability and had hardly any belongings. I'm Lithuanian too. My uncle won the Nobel Prize, and he was the first Lithuanian to win a Nobel Prize. But he met the president of Lithuania. So they're not all bad, like half. But I have an interesting story where we were royalty, the Radsvilles. That's my grandmother's name. The Radsvilles were royalty over there, but then they overthrew the country. And if I go back there, I'd probably be killed. But I have royal bloodline that way. So, how old was she when she moved over? And Did she speak Lithuanian, or was she able to communicate with you? Sometimes too that can, and the reason, like, was it hard to get a job? Sometimes that can be a hurdle, but 12 years, she should have things. Hardly any belongings because she's a drifter. Mark says she seemed to use people for places to stay, dog. Yeah. Sometimes it's easier for women to do that than men too. That, they can, guys can do it too, but let me scroll down. Cleary says, also note some of these narcs are into black magic. There are definitely some people. You're right. They just want to control everything so bad that they'll put spells on things, whether it's for revenge or to control, to punish. Good point. Yeah, that they're not necessarily doing. Kalibi, what do you think about black magic? Do you think it even works? Do you think it's... Debbie says the covert narcissist Charlie is probably surprised I didn't cave in. You just know when you are ready to let go. I told him I needed to learn to get over him. It was time. And did you vocally say that to, or through text, or just in your mind? John says, I'm seeing that a lot being... Wish it didn't flip flop. I try to scroll down. A lot being mentioned. Yeah, with the black magic. John, what do you guys think? Do you guys think that black magic is mainly control and spell on people? I see the connection of narcs. Yeah, and it's a power thing. They do. They want to control things. Debbie says, Kalibi, black magic is scary. Yes, it is. And it can be, John says, I just can't see a person casting spells onto another and expecting it to directly affect them. Kalibi says, during my early years in the building, I've seen and observed a group of 5 people acted like they were all under a spell, like robots. They marched into my place and I just got out of the shower. It was probably pretty scary. Mark says, I actually ended the relationship. We had a really nice weekend at the beach. Monday I was working and we argued because I was busy and couldn't come to see her. By Friday, she was with the new guy. Yeah, John's saying move on. Yeah, it's hard to do, though. It is hard. But just remember, she showed you who she was. Lack of connection, and it doesn't mean that you're a good or bad person. We have to understand our own self-worth and not allow somebody to tell us what our worth is. And the more we believe in ourselves, the more we won't give up on ourselves. So Doug says, hi, I'm back. That was one dog setting off the pack. Oh, yeah. And Debbie says, yes, it's on the life insurance check from the bank. Oh, this story gets better and better, but I only get so much space to write. There are 7 cars and 3 campers involved, plus a house. Oh, my goodness. Huh. Do I get one? I want a camper. But, okay. That's quite a bit. Yeah, definitely protect yourself with that. Yeah, definitely. And that's nice that, you'll have some financial relief too with that. Dog says, hi back. And we're glad to have you back. Mark says, I couldn't keep up the attention she needed, and I almost feel she started silly arguments so I would end it and she could move on. I was neglecting other things in my life to give her constant attention. So when we start feeling drained, it could be a sign that somebody's a narcissist, or sometimes too just a bad match. You know, was there an age difference between you guys? A substantial age difference, and a lot of times too, they'll cause things to be miserable, so they don't have to take accountability. That's very common. Dog says, "I'm sorry, Mark. Often people who have a difficult time getting it together may have trauma, addiction, any number of qualities undesirable in any healthy relationship." We have to remember that too, you know. Jesus, I was Jesus's teacher. Good to have you here. Yeah, he reached out yesterday, like, "Hey, were you a teacher at my school? How is it going?" Yeah, we talk about narcissistic abuse, so crazy stuff. And we're getting ready for spring break at the end of the month. I'm not sure when yours is, Jesus, but so good to have you here. Small world, small world. And let me catch up a little bit. So, Jesus, so good to see you. I ran into Mr. Sly at Myers. I saw him. So she speaks fluent English. She actually almost has an Irish accent at this stage, but she drifts all the time. She had a different plan every day of what she wanted, so possibly she has BPD. Could be. BPD is very similar to NPD, except the way it like manifests and presents. More women will have borderline personality disorder. There's also, you know, ADHD, a whole bunch of different things. But if it's not working, it's not working. You know, there is different kinds of mental illness. Kalibi says, well, when I was playing tarot cards, the card showed me who the narcs are. I saw the bewildering blonde hair of the female narc and self-centeredness of the male narc. Interesting. So, Jesus, you've been really depressed. How can I change that? Usually when we start getting depressed, we have to really recognize why we're getting depressed. You know, is it hormones? You know, are our hormones doing that? Are we stressed? Are we anxious? I'd like to help you with that. You know, things get severe. You know, there are suicide hotlines. I'm hoping you're not that depressed, which is 988. Always remember that. You can give that out to your friends too. But, you know, when we're depressed, it's telling us something. And we can take it positively. You know, are we depressed because, you know, we want to achieve something? What is it that we want to achieve? Are we depressed because we feel we have no control over certain situations? Are we depressed that, you know, our grades aren't what they should be? And that helps us refocus instead of getting caught up in being depressed, that we realize, you know, we got to put the effort in to change that thing. So, Jesus, please tell me a little bit more about what you think is causing the depression. I know after COVID, a lot of people were depressed. You know, seasonal depression can also be a factor. You know, it's healthy to get the vitamin D. So even just sometimes spending a little bit of time in the sunlight, and it's kind of hard being here where it's cold. And I will help you change that because I can't change it for you, even though I want to. You know, I can help guide you, but the change is going to come from you, you know. But I will help you through that. So tell me a little bit more. Debbie says it was my last text to him 19 days ago. And I'm very proud of you, 19 days ago. So that's 19 days ago, though. Dog says, Jesus, have you been here before? Yeah, I'll let Jesus answer, but he reached out last night. So I was made aware that he was here before, but have you been watching some of the videos? I don't know if you knew I had this channel until last night. So sometimes people will pop in, you know, and we don't always know that they're watching, but I want to help you with that. So Aku is Mark. Mark says she had got trauma, she doesn't speak to her father, but if she told me she had some sort of trauma, I could have understood. And sometimes too, um, you know, trauma presents itself differently. Some is, like if it's sexual abuse, they might not want to talk about it. Just like the trauma when I caught on fire, it's blocked out. I don't remember it. No matter how much you ask me, like, did it hurt? Did it this? Did it? I don't remember when I was on fire. I don't remember it. And I don't care how many times you ask me, I'll never remember it. So it could be blocked. It could affect her. And she's like, I don't know what the problem is because it's blocked. It's a lot of times shame based, but yeah, a lot of times too, it's like I would have understood. I totally would have understood. Uh, so let me scroll back down, guys. Yeah, there's probably something if she's not talking to her father. Do you know if that was her choice? Why she's not talking to her father? That usually lets you know who the abuser is. Kalibi says depression is part of the emotional abuse. Jesus, keep the faith, meditate, and rely on your creator to help you. Yeah, if you're religious at all, it puts the direction of the pain off of us. It's actually healthy to have religion. Just like how we say, instead of me like directly saying, you are upsetting me, you are pissing me off, if we take it outside a little bit and say, it is upsetting me, it's not a direct hit. So when we do that, the depression isn't quite a direct hit. It's a little offset, if that makes sense. Depression is part of the emotional abuse. And yeah. And abuse is not always from the parents. Abuse can be from, kids at school or somebody, that changes the way we feel, changes how we feel safe. Could be a teacher, and Dog says, Kalibi, be careful with tarot. And so Kalibi says, hey, Jesus, if you really need help, see a health professional to guide you. And, I used to be his teacher. I'm not sure how old he is now. But have you spoken with your parents? Do your parents know what's going on? I'm not sure what grade you are in now, but it's so good to have you. There was only 5 years between us, to be honest. I never seen a person live the way she does. She was always on the move. She didn't have any addictions, though. High energy. Interesting. And like a narcissist has to keep busy. They don't like the downtime. They don't like the boredom. Other mental illnesses will be like that too. It's a different, like thrill seekers type thing. Okay, only 5 years in between. So Kalibi says, yes, Dog Defender, I know the dangers of tarot. That's why I haven't played it about 2 years now. I have focused and returned to my Catholic faith. That's awesome. And Mark could also be ADHD. Yeah. Could be. Yeah, I see signs of that too, where it's a possibility. And I think, it's hard, but it might have just been the newness of the relationship and just wasn't a good match. You meant BPD or ADHD. Yeah. And it could be. She used to always ask me would I miss her if we broke up. Yeah, she's got low self-esteem. She's wanting you to, and that's also kind of like how they tell on themselves. It's like self-sabotaging, so by her asking you that, It's the low self-esteem because she wants you to say, oh baby, of course you are wonderful, of course I would miss you. But by her saying that, put stuff in your head where it's like, does she not think this is stable? And then you're going to be like, I have to do something to make sure. It just sets it all off. It's planting the wrong seeds. That's why we talk about manifesting things where, even if you do have those feelings, we have to change it where it's like, I know we're not going to break up. I know it. And that way your words come out the right way. But if you start lowering yourself, it's just weird how it works. But it's the manifestation stuff is like legit does work, but it's more allowing yourself not to self-sabotage. And that's how manifestation kind of works. If you live in the future, like this is, if I wanted to be a doctor, me saying that I hope I can pass the test, or one day I'll be a doctor. If it's like, no, I am a doctor, I might not have the degree, but if I'm a doctor at heart, that's my soul, that's my personality. I will do everything in my power to make that work. I'll live that way. It changes just the way you live, and you can achieve things a lot easier that way. Dog says, Mark, at the end of the day, if it isn't a great fit for you, it isn't your person. I'm so happy for you that you were able to recognize there were issues and walked away. And Jesus, feel free to, are you still there, Jesus? I want to make sure you're doing okay. Because I can help you. Mia says, good night, Cynthia. Please have a great weekend and peaceful and restful night's sleep. So you sleep well. And I'll be on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you can join us again. Dog says, yes. I'm happy that you were able to recognize these. Yeah. And Mark says, yeah, thanks, dog. The thing is, after the breakup, I would have reached out and spoke to her, but she already had a new boyfriend after only 4 days. And we got to remember, too, the things that we say. If we end something, it should be ended. That causes trauma to people, too, if she was into it. So Debbie says, good night, Mia. I'm going to go soon myself. Yeah, it's getting late. I just want to make sure Jesus is doing okay. And thank you guys for joining. So you have a good night too. And she never told me why. Okay. And yeah, there's usually a reason, but the trauma that we go through, we want to make sure that we don't self-sabotage in the Basil. Good morning, good evening, and good night. It's wrapping all up. How are you, Basil? Basil's joining us. And how's it going for you? How is it going for you? A lot of stuff going on, but the positivity that we do, we have to take care of ourselves. The self-love really makes a huge difference. And, they have the power of yet, where you can say, if you say, I'm not good enough, you can say, I haven't mastered this yet. It gives you some positivity in it, as opposed to all negative. So the power of yet, like I can't cook yet, good yet. It gives you some motivation. And Dog says, Mark, I can only speculate. You saying she was needy to the point you couldn't ever meet her needs. Moving into her relationships tells me she is possibly unstable and looking for anything to attach to. And so Dog says, hey, Basil, good to see you. Yeah. And it felt off. And that's that spiral that happens, and it's hard to be positive all the time, but, we kind of add to the downfall. And it's not really our fault, but our confusion self-sabotages it, because we start becoming annoying to them, and not that that's your fault, but you think about, like, who wants to be around somebody annoying? And it's like, if you just would have communicated or told the truth, none of this would have happened. And it's things that you can't overlook. If they're not telling you if they paid the mortgage, or they're lying about it, or lying about gambling, you can't overlook some of those things, because that too can be self-sabotaging, where you might lose your house over it. So Basil, how's it been going for you? And Jesus, are you still there? I want to make sure you're doing okay. Let's see. Oh, Jesus, where did you go? That's the thing, is, like, I can't always see everybody, but I think he disappeared for a little while. So I'm hearing a bunch of sounds outside. Oh, I bet I know what that is. I think they're doing the snow, scraping the snow. But the positive thoughts will lead to a more positive life, and we have to remember that. So tomorrow I will be on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Basil says, Cynthia, if someone accidentally gave out private information on the live chat that they don't want others to revisit, could they be edited out or in your saved playlist? Is there a video that you're worried about that I have? So Basil says, good to see you too. Dog says, don't you feel, though, that regardless of the reason someone is off or not on the same page, it is great to want to be kind, but not our responsibility to fix? Yeah. It's great to want to be kind, but not our responsibility to fix. Yeah, we can be kind to them. We're not going to fix them. That's not us. It has to come from them. We can't fix them. We have to remember, no matter what. So yeah, Debbie says this will block out mine. Yeah, and let me know what you're talking about. Yeah, yeah. Share what you guys are comfortable sharing. I know sometimes we get excited and might say something. Cynthia, when you sign off, can message you on Instagram or email. Yep, you can definitely message me. I'll type that again for you guys. And yeah, my Instagram. I don't check my Instagram as much, even though lately I've been doing that a little bit more. It's so silly. I should know my I just get overwhelmed because I like trying to set things up where it's the same, and I have all these different handles, and okay, I think that's what it is. This is my Instagram. I think at a and it's like underscore, or let's see. Oops, I just had it. I think this is my Instagram. Yeah. So this is Instagram. If you go into Instagram and type that in the search, and yeah, it's underscore. My Instagram has not been revealed. Okay. That's my Instagram right there. So feel free to log into that. I need to update that stuff. And all my stuff. would probably help me grow too. I did try and meet her needs, dog. I was always putting in the effort to come see her, but I was neglecting other things I needed to keep on top of in life, work, etc. Like she wanted to see me every day. And that can be hard, you know. And when she's not working, or taking care of a house, or things like that, you know, a lot of times they don't see. It's like, whoa, this is a little much. So John says, good night, Mia. Was making coffee. I know, I got coffee going too. Basil says, yeah, it's the part where I mentioned who the narc's exact relation with to me. I wanted to keep that part anonymous and just disclose him as a narc, but I was emotional that day, so I disclosed. Okay. I don't think you would have a problem with it because, for them to find it, it's hours upon hours. Do they even know that one video? Would you be able to find that? To tell me what part you want edited out. I think you would be pretty safe, to be honest. A little slip of the tongue over, like, for him to try to search for it. I've been doing these since December. I was doing pretty good for a while, where it's like 2-3 hours a day. Some of them were 4 hours long. I think this is our first week, or maybe a second week, that I haven't been doing it pretty much every day. So he'd have to go through 300 hours of, is that correct? 3 hours times about 300 hours of videos to find that one slip up. So, yeah. And would he come to my channel, so, yeah, I think you're okay. But if you can find that part, let me know, So Mark says she actually said a weird thing to me once. She said, even if I'm in the wrong, I'll make the other person feel bad about it. And they'll tell you, this is my character, and we have to listen to it. They will tell you those things. Yep. And we think they're not going to do that to us, but that's their character. They are telling, and eventually they will do it to us. Calibri says, good night, John. Yes, good point there. I always made my coffee and ready to brew tomorrow. So John says, I'm going to work on some projects this weekend. Cynthia, the flying chair scooter project, is getting a metallic chrome finish to it. That will be nice. And Basil says, appreciate it, Cynthia. Yeah. Dog says, yes, Mark, I heard that, which is why I said she sounds unstable. Or there may be reasons that her neediness felt excessive. Whatever it was, I truly don't feel it was your fault. Like this was before you. Yeah, I agree. Whatever it was, I don't think was, his fault. She latched on needing more than she should have for something healthy for you. About it, you mean. Yeah. And that's the thing, we got to realize it's hard to find a good match. If we all can become emotionally stable, if we all can have empathy, the thing that's kind of scaring me, it's kind of good and kind of bad at the same time, is putting up all these boundaries. They don't talk about understanding people, communicating. So we're going to have a society where everybody is quick to discard people, and when people get discarded, they're going to have hurt feelings. We're just going to keep separating. We're not learning how to work through things. And if we work through things in the beginning, it's healthier, but nobody's perfect, and, I just see all these little things. even minute things, that it gets awkward. I went out to lunch with someone, and this one little girl asked my friend's little one, can we can we have a play date? And they didn't know each other, and the mom was like, "Oh, that's sweet," and she never answered that child's question. So the child reacts kind of like bewildered, like I just asked a question, like, what does that mean? And also trying to be polite to an adult. And uh, the woman is a wonderful woman. She's a wonderful woman, but she might not want to hurt the little, like, how do I say, we don't know you, but just little things from within, as opposed to we don't know you, because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. So she was empathetic, I believe, is where that was coming from. Thanks, dog. You're so kind. And Debbie says, I'm confused about Charlie, but I'm just going to sit back and see what happens. I'm not going back to narc abuse. Yeah. But there's a reason you still want to sit back and see what is making all this sound. It's got to be, yeah, they're scraping outside. Probably destroying my car. You're still curious, though. You are still curious. And Basil says, is my opinion. Basil says, what topic of narcissism have you been focusing on more lately? And which type of narc did you study the most about? And what type of position were their victims mostly? Example, kids, husband, wives, girlfriend, boyfriend. For me, if you're talking about me, mine is more relationshipal, another made up word. Like husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, lover, whatever you guys fall into as far as lovers, mates. But yeah, I do want to focus more on kids and their parents. The generational gaps too. We see a lot of kids hating their parents, and some of it might just be good intentions that went bad. And the entitlement, like, I do see some of the like the information on narcissism is, they'll come back and say, I did all these things for you. And they do it like to manipulate, but there's times we do certain things like for our children out of truly loving them, truly wanting to give them the most, but it hurts if you get discarded by your children because you feel you invested in them. You can't really throw it in their face, but I don't know. But it's not like you own your kids either, but you would like some appreciation. I feel there's nothing wrong with hoping that you're appreciated, because you sacrifice a lot. But it's hard getting the exact words out sometimes. Dog says, Basil, I have so many questions like you do. Yeah. And let me scroll up a little bit. I see not magical like yours, John. What did I miss? And I see the appreciated. So, yeah. Basil, what type are you hoping to hear most about? Dog says, nice creativity, John. I have been doing projects too, not magical like yours, but it is so fun to be creative and make things we like. I'm upcycling it's a rattan, right? Rattan chest. I stained it, added bun feet. Oh, that's going to turn out neat. Dog says, Basil, I have so many questions like you do. Mark says, even if I wasn't able to see her on the day I did try to compromise, I'd have to completely stop my own life to keep up the attention she wanted. And that's where you got to put up boundaries too. Like, look, and it's helpful. This is my perspective. It's helpful if you can offer something, like as opposed to saying, look, I can't today, I can't today, I can't tomorrow. Sometimes if you can say when you can, that is helpful. But sometimes I throw little fits too. But if you can next time, I can't, I'm busy all week, I can't. If you say I can't this week, but next Wednesday I can, sometimes that can soothe things too. And of course, they're still gonna miss you. Sometimes people need reassurance because they have issues too. Sometimes we overlook that. It's hard. It's hard. Kalibi says narcs understand the word repercussion. So if you display and act like you have a whip to discipline them, they would understand you. There you go. Your stance. Dog says, typo, queen work, misspelled her name, sorry. Let's see those typos. That's okay. Kalibri says correction, repercussions and consequences. Good correction. Dog says repercussions, Miss Cynthia would say. Yes. Oh, repercussions. And see, I can't even hear. Repercussions. You could say it both ways, can't you? Yes, you can. Is that what you're saying to me, doggy? Repercussions. Come on, you got my mind going. Repercussions, yes. Repercussion. How do we even spell repercussion? Oh, did you? Is it because of the way you spell it? Because I'm reading it. You guys gotta give me a break. There's a difference between. I think it's just because I repercussions. I'm really stuck on this. All right, I'm gonna do repercussion. Okay. Repercussion. There. It's not repercussions. So, how's that, dog? Did I save myself? How do you say it? Did I do it right? Vassal says it's repercussion. That's probably say it both ways. Basil says to dog, just trying to be more aware of my surroundings. I get emotionally driven sometimes, but I don't think that's always a positive thing. And yes, Basil, I am usually on Fridays and Saturdays. I was doing every night, but it got too much. I was neglecting too many things that I needed to do. Some of it was sleep. I will be on next weekend. On the 18th and 19th, I'm going out of town, but I'm usually on Fridays and Saturdays. We have the best group turnout on Saturdays. I go on at 9 p.m. That way we can do some people from different countries and time zones. So yeah, I try to keep it at Fridays and Saturdays. Over the summer, I'm a teacher. Also during spring break, I might be able to go on a little bit more. So yeah, repercussions. Just say it, consequences for their bad actions. Yes, I gotta love it. So tomorrow, I will be on at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm trying to I want to go on more, but I also have to remember that I got to kind of keep on track too, because you guys are my addiction. I love talking to you guys. I miss you when I can't be on. But I'm going to go ahead and log off for today, say that I love you guys, and hope to see you tomorrow. Feel free to let me know any topics that you would want. Dog, shoot me that email. And Mark says I was taken back by how much she didn't care about me when I did reach out to her a few weeks after getting the breakup. It was like we never had a relationship. Basically laughed at me, and that's where it hurts so much. They move on. They almost don't even acknowledge. I had where they ghost you, to where it makes you feel dead to them. And, sometimes it's like, can't we just say hi? Where they don't look at you. And it's very painful. So yeah, we can relate to that, Mark. Dog says, Cynthia, due to how we met, I'm very observant and love to keep it fun with your pain. So okay. I do try to pay attention. Thank you. And I do try to pay close attention to detail. And that's why I looked it up. I'm like, wait. But how do you say? Do you say repercussions or repercussions? So take care. Yes, and you bring out lots of laughter in me. So thank you, dog, for that. So feel free to hit that thumbs up on the way out. And I know we got quite a few people in chat, and I kind of hate cutting it short, but Lily, good night to you. Thanks so much. And have a great weekend. See you guys soon. Our topic requests are welcome. Keep positive. Remember that story about if you focus on the negative, you're going to hit that tree. If you focus on the path, you're going to go down the right path. Keep it positive. And you guys are going to get through this. Lots of love. See you guys soon. Good night, guys. And I love sunflowers. Good night. So dog, before I go, it says, Mark, I do not believe it is personal. You were supply. She's probably mad. You do everything she demanded. Good night, everyone. Love yourself more. We'll talk about that more tomorrow. Bring that up about how when they get what they want, sometimes that throws it off. We're going to talk about the balance. So remind me on that. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Good night, guys.